Before you listen to this podcast, please be warned, we spoil absolutely everything that happens in The Last Jedi. So spoiler warning. If you've not seen the movie yet, please stop this podcast and listen to it after you've seen The Last Jedi. Hey guys, welcome back to another Chit Chat with Cass. I hope you guys have had a great and safe new year so far. Here we have the episode that I've been talking about for weeks now. This is going to be the Last Jedi Chit Chat with my dad as a special Star Wars guest star. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much.
Now, he is my go-to Star Wars expert because, of course, he introduced me to Star Wars as a child and is my go-to. So I figured this would be a great podcast for him to guest star on.
That makes sense.
Does make sense. So yeah, he was definitely the person that got me into Star Wars. Do you want to share how you got me interested into a galaxy far, far away?
Cassie was 4 years old. She had been watching Disney princesses, and I said, "Would you like to watch a movie about a princess?" And she's, "Yes, I would." So I get out the videotape of Star Wars. It was the 10th anniversary edition, and I stick it in, and we start off with, the way Star Wars starts off with the big, the Tantive 4 going by, and then you get the huge Star Destroyer going by, and then all of a sudden you get this little princess, and Cassie was just sitting there mesmerized. And then you get this great big hulking black armored guy coming in, and this little tiny princess just stands up to him and tells him what's for. I think that was the moment that cemented Princess Leia as Cassie's favorite princess. And throughout the whole movie, she's telling Han what to do. She's telling Chewbacca to get out of her way. You came here in that thing, you're braver than I thought. That kind of stuff. So when the movie was over, I told Cassie to come with me, and we went out, and I opened up some boxes that I had had since I was a kid. And I have several of these boxes that are full of Star Wars toys that I had as a kid. Cassie's eyes got huge. "Dad, where did you get all this?" Well, I gave her my original 1977 Princess Leia. And she's got several of these, and when I'm gone, she's got all of them. But that is pretty much how I got Cassie into Star Wars, and she was pretty much hooked ever since.
He ruined me, you guys, because then I go back and watch these Disney movies, and I'm wondering why the hell the princess is the damsel in distress when Princess Leia can handle her damn self.
All Princess Leia needed on the Death Star was someone to open the
door.
That's all she needed.
So yes, then I was hooked on Star Wars, and Leia became one of my favorite characters. Pretty much cemented all of my favorite characters, because all of them have some sort of characteristic of Leia. So definitely peaked it into my Star Wars being a huge part of my life. So we have seen the movie twice now. The first time I saw it, I needed time to process, because that was a lot in one movie. And then the second time, I was much more understanding, and I enjoyed it a lot more. I think
So
you
did
had
I.
said. Yeah,
So
you
did
said
I.
that too. We waited to do this podcast until after we'd seen it a second time, more time to process, catch things that people had said online, things of that nature. So I think our general review, before we dive into the details of the whole movie, is that both of us liked it.
Very much so.
Unlike, this movie is totally split the Star Wars fan base. Although Star Wars fans are so freaking picky, I can't keep up sometimes.
Yeah, most of the people said that Force Awakens was too much like Star Wars, and then they said Last Jedi was nothing like Star Wars.
Too different. It's like, make up your mind.
Yeah, what do you want?
A lot of people were criticizing Rian Johnson's, his creative look on Star Wars, and I didn't really have any problems with it, but we'll dive into that later. But in a general sense, we both enjoyed the movie, and are not boycotting it from the canon. Jesus, you guys, calm your shit.
Yeah, not at all. This fits right in. It was incredible.
Getting started, I thought that we would talk about some of the new characters first, since this was the first time we've seen them. So, Admiral Holdo, played by Laura Dern.
I'm a Laura Dern fan, so I didn't mind her in there. But I kind of thought she was, kind of a bitch at first. Yeah. Until I was kind of with Poe.
I think that's the point of it. You're kind of supposed to be on Poe's side.
And I was definitely on Poe's side because he's kind of the Han Solo of the movie. And I'm a Han Solo fan. But once you figured out what she was doing, she was an incredible character. I
had heard so early on that she was going to be kind of like butting heads with Poe, so I immediately assumed that she was going to be like a bad character or something like that. And I even heard that she was going to be kind of like a nemesis to Leia. I guess you shouldn't listen to early on spoilers, but so I was going into the movie expecting her to be bad, but I enjoyed her the entire time. Even the beginning stuff with Poe, she seemed like she had it under control, and he was overreacting.
He was,
and we'll go into Poe in a bit, but I thought that Laura Dern did a really great job, and it's kind of unfortunate that she won't be in the next one.
Yeah, she was kind of great. And,
she was really great.
Very heroic.
Although I do have to agree with some people online, like, why is she in an evening gown the entire time? Like, did you come from a party?
Yeah.
You hear that Leia, got hurt, and now you need to come from a party?
Yeah, I know. Vice Admiral? That's not the uniform of a Vice Admiral.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that part was weird. And,
she
the Hunger Games hair.
That's what I was just going to say. She was going to look like she was from the Capitol.
Yeah.
She looked like she could be Effie's sister.
You could have just used her normal hair like everybody else, and she'd have been fine.
Yeah.
You didn't need that. But
I think it was more of...
It didn't affect the character.
Yeah, creating more different looks to Star Wars, I suppose. But yeah, I really enjoyed her, and I think I've only seen her really in Jurassic Park. Or I did see Wild with Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
But I don't really know her that well.
Yeah.
But you had, when I told you that she was cast in Star Wars, you were a fan.
Yes,
so.
I was a fan. I'm also a fan of her mother and her father.
Yeah. And then the next new character we had was played by Benicio del Toro, DJ's character.
DJ?
Do you know that I realized only on the second time that he had a stutter?
Yeah.
I didn't realize the first time we seen it. Totally missed that. I don't know how, because it was, obvious.
I really like Benicio del Toro in The Hunted. I thought he was incredible in that movie. And so I was kind of looking forward to him in this. And then he was an okay character. He wasn't somebody you were supposed to root for, really, but he was... the guy's a great actor.
He's a great actor. I don't have any problem with his acting. I don't have any problem with anybody's acting in this movie.
Not at all.
But I thought that his character was entirely pointless.
Yeah.
It was just, it was just because we needed someone. He was only put in place because they needed someone to screw them over.
Yeah.
That was the only purpose of him.
They say, hey, we need to cast a douchebag.
And it's I understand his good, bad side to that character they were trying to do. I just thought that it was pointless. Which is kind of an insult to him. But like I said, it's not his acting, it's just the character itself.
And he was great in the part.
Mm-hmm.
It just, did we really need it?
No, it could have been. And that's another thing with this movie is you could say, oh, he could have been cut out of the movie. No, because everything is so intertwined in this movie. Stuff couldn't be cut out like that.
Right. You needed it.
Yeah.
You did.
Not much character development or anything. Yeah. Which it wasn't just supposed to be an introduction. I am curious if we'll see him in the next one.
Yeah.
For Finn to run back into him or something. You kind of have to, in a way, unless it's just here he is, screwed you over, now he's gone.
There he goes. Him and Laura Dern. Exit stage left.
Yeah, see, Laura Dern would have been great for another one, but I don't think she made it.
Nah, I think she's toast.
I said she's gone. Speaking of, back to Laura Dern's character, did you hear that theaters were having to post, posters saying that at this point in the movie, it's supposed to be silent? Because people thought there was something wrong with it. It's I completely understood. It's dead silent and then bam! It crashes.
You had that in the prequels.
I don't know why but theaters were having to post.
Jango Fett with his sonic torpedoes, everything went quiet for that.
It is an extended quiet. I did notice that the first time we saw it, but I knew it was on purpose.
Well, in space, no one can hear you scream,
Yeah. All right, who else do we have new? Oh, okay, I added the Porgs to this because they're kind of like characters, right? Do we like the Porgs?
I don't mind the Porgs.
They were so, like, debated before the movie even came out. Everyone was like, the Porgs are replacing BB-8.
And, you know, all they were replacing was Chewie's dinner.
Oh, poor little Porgs. Poor little Porg face.
I guess Chewie's a vegan now.
Maybe. He might be a vegan now. Who knows? I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to clear out the Falcon now, because there's, like, moms bringing in their little porglets in there. I don't know if that's what they're called. And, like, nesting throughout the ship.
It's going to be like Tribbles in Star Trek. They're going to be everywhere.
Oh, that's just great. All right, another new character we had was Rose. Dun, dun, dun. She's so debated online right now.
I didn't mind her. Mm-hmm. I thought she was a good character. The whole I love Finn thing.
Oh, my gosh.
That... I didn't really need that. But I thought she was a great character. I had no problem with her at all. And
she was a good character. I think I had more problems with that bit of the storyline. Their whole storyline. Canto Bight, the casino planet or whatever. Then I had, like, problems with her. I thought she was actually very cute. And, like, potential. But then they had to go all like Anakin and Padme at the end with the kiss and the saving. I was like, why? Yeah. I don't even think Finn knew what was happening.
Finn didn't know what was happening. Finn's going, why are you in love with me? I got this hot Rey over here. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know if they're, like, trying to go for, like, a love triangle type thing. Why they needed to include that.
She was obviously a fangirl of Finn.
And I think that makes it worse.
And that does, because is she in love with Finn, or is she in love with the story of the background of Finn?
Yeah,
and I really like Finn. I think he is great. Yeah. And I don't really need him and Rey to hook up. But I do enjoy their friendship.
I did miss that. I think we're going to touch in that in a little bit.
Stop taking my hand.
I miss their chemistry because Daisy and John Boyega have amazing chemistry together. They're adorable if you watch them in interviews or anything. They're just hilarious together. Yeah. So I did miss that in this movie. And I don't know if they were trying to, like, replace that with Rose and Finn. It wasn't that they were horrible together. I thought their scenes were fine together. It was just the whole storyline with Canto Bight and everything that just seemed, I don't know, pushed. And that's another thing where everyone was saying, oh, we could have cut out more of that and had more island stuff, but then, like, you had to have that to continue. It was, yeah. I don't have a problem with Rose, but the scenes. I'm kind of hoping for better for her in the next one.
Yeah. Well, the whole Canto Bight scene got better on the second viewing.
It did. It wasn't as bad.
Because after the first viewing, I'm going, why did we go to a James Bond planet?
Yeah.
And it just seemed weird.
Someone I heard said that it was, like, too Earth-like. It like, seemed like a casino you would see on Earth, like, with characters from the capital. That's what people said. It was like an Earth casino with characters from a Hunger Games capital.
Exactly. But the second time, I enjoyed Canto Bight much better.
Yeah.
Especially when I found out which one was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, which one was Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
They parked on the beach.
That one was him?
That's what I heard.
Oh, see, I knew he did the voice, but I didn't know. And then supposedly Mark Hamill did a CGI character, the one that's popping the coins in BB-8. And if you listen, there's a Joker laugh in there. So I think it is Mark Hamill.
It sounds like the Joker.
It sounds like his Joker, so. Alright, did we have any other new... corny-ass line. I seriously rolled my eyes so hard when we saw it the second time.
Which one?
The one with Rose and Finn. That's how we're gonna win this thing. By, I don't know, saving the people we love or whatever bullshit she said.
Not destroying what we hate, but saving what we love.
Oh, Jesus, girl.
Yeah, that's bad man Anakin rolling around on the boob. Which is my least favorite of the whole series.
Alright, so moving on to characters we knew. Let's just start off with Luke Skywalker. His old grumpy version of Luke Skywalker.
I liked it.
I liked him too. And I'm still kind of disappointed that he didn't pluck Rey off the island, but tossing the lightsaber over his hand, oh, that's totally acceptable.
Yeah, I really enjoy seeing all of the original three, Harrison, Carrie, and Mark, because I grew up with them. I was 12 years old when Star Wars came out, and Luke, Han, and Leia were the shit. And so seeing Mark Hamill as an older guy looking completely badass as the old Jedi with the long hair and the gray beard. The storyline, some people don't like it, that he's, kind of a hermit, but all Jedis end up being hermits.
That's my biggest thing, is people are like, Luke ran away. That's not what the Jedi do. That's the
only
thing the Jedi do.
But
Obi-Wan, Yoda, all these people.
I thought he was great.
And I think Mark Hamill did. I think this is probably like Mark Hamill's best movie. Like, he did so good.
It is his best Luke Skywalker performance ever.
And
of course,
people,
I like Corvette Summer, but I'm kind of alone there.
And people will say that Luke's character is now ruined. That's been like the huge debate and the hate towards this movie. They ruined Luke's character. He's not like the hope of the galaxy anymore. And I don't think that he's ruined. No. But so many people said that he's just completely ruined now.
No, not at all. Because he came back and was the hope.
Yeah, I think that was a big part too. It's like he went through some shit with his douchebag nephew, kind of ruined him, and then he came back. But people will continue to debate how ruined Luke's character is, and I just don't agree with that at all.
No.
I think a big part of the ruining of the character is the flashbacks, Luke's version and Ben's version, to the Jedi Temple training. I don't know what they're
new Jedi Order.
I don't know what they're calling it in this. I reference the books, and that's not a thing anymore. People were like, "Oh, well, he was gonna kill a kid." It has to be it's different point of views.
Right.
It probably wasn't as drastic as Ben said, and it probably wasn't as nice as Luke said.
No, it was in the middle.
It was somewhere in the middle.
I take it as he fired up the lightsaber and was going to do it, and then realized, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And that's when Ben woke up, and so he wouldn't have done it. He intended on doing it, but he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse. I mean, his father was Darth Vader, guys. He could have just chopped the little child into bits and been done with it.
Yeah, Dad did that. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them.
Oh my
what
God.
are we to
I
do?
hate that part in Revenge of the Sith. It's horrible. Oh. And then you go home to your pregnant wife. Okay, we can't talk about Revenge of the Sith.
As much as I like Darth Vader, that kind of puts a little doohickey on it.
Yeah. Okay, so sum up of Luke Skywalker. We don't think he's ruined.
Not at all.
Not at all. I guess we can briefly touch. I think I noted to later mention it when he comes back and everything, and the force projection, I guess I'm calling it.
I think
but I had so much more peace, like Rey said, about Luke's death than Han's death.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying they didn't, it wasn't nice to kill Luke off, and it was horrible. I left the theater so mad that Han was dead, and I knew he was gonna die. Harrison wasn't gonna come back.
He wanted to be killed in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna come back. I knew Han was gonna die. But Luke's was just so much better, and you can't tell me he's not gonna come back as a Force ghost in the next one.
Oh yeah, he definitely is.
So everyone that's upset that he died.
Party.
I know, right? You can just bring everybody. That'd be great.
I would bring my friends, and we would go be Force ghosts.
See? There you go. He can go do that. All right, other characters we knew. Leia, Carrie's last performance.
Carrie's best performance.
Was so good.
She was so much better in this movie than she was in The Force Awakens.
And you know what I think that's part of the reason is? Rian Johnson has said that on multiple occasions he and Carrie collaborated on so much of this film.
She was a script doctor.
Yeah, she helped write stuff, she would suggest things, and she did that on the original stuff too. If you look at some of the old scripts that were at her house that they auctioned off, she made scribbles and was like, no, I don't think Leia would say that. She'd say this. She's a writer. She was a writer. Ugh,
Harrison Ford did that too. This was her best performance as Leia. She was incredible in this. She was just kind of there in Force Awakens, and it was great to see her. Yeah. But her acting or the directing didn't work. Mm-hmm. But in this movie, she was incredible. Mm-hmm.
It's a good send-off, although...
And she got to use the Force.
She got to use the Force, which everyone hates. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm so glad we got to see her use the Force. She doesn't get a lightsaber in this, which is fine, but she got to use the Force, and everyone can shut up about how much they hate it.
Hey, the Guardians of the Galaxy survived out in space. Why can't she? She's got the Force to
I think
help
people are like, oh, she flew across the space. It was weird.
Mary Poppins.
It wasn't. Don't call it Mary Poppins. I love that part because she hasn't got to do shit really. And
all her force powers that we've seen have been passive.
Yeah, just
this
like
was
feeling
the first
things and
active things she's done.
Yeah.
And to save her life, it makes sense.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that part, and people are like tearing it apart, and
kind of wish she could have found Admiral Akbar and brought him back, because I kind of liked him, but he was way past her, probably.
Oh yeah, I think everybody was
blown
like
way out the bridge.
Gonzo at that point. I really liked that part though. So, and you said that you kind of saw like her face morph into like Return of the Jedi.
It might be because I'm partially blind, but when her face was freezing out in space, I thought her eyes morphed into Carrie Fisher from Return of the Jedi. Now, I know in Man of Steel, they morphed Henry Cavill's face with Christopher Reeve's face when he was in the Indian Ocean going up against the World Engine thing. And I saw that because I'm a huge Christopher Reeve fan and those Superman movies. And so when I was looking at Carrie Fisher, I thought I saw the same thing. And it could be just my eyes, but I thought as she was freezing there was a little bit of...
Well, something was morphing as she was freezing.
Yeah.
So something was happening there.
A little bit of younger Carrie in there, which excited me on the first viewing. I thought, ooh, that's cool.
My heart dropped when she blew out, when the whole deck blew off.
The whole bridge.
I was like, ah, did we just kill her? Ah! Do you think that Ben thinks she's alive, or do you think he thinks she's dead?
No, I think he knows she's alive. I think by the time you get to Craig, he knows she's in there.
Maybe.
He could feel it.
Maybe. I don't know.
But he's just such a whiny turd by then.
But that was probably one of my favorite moments for her. Another favorite moment for Leia was when she like came up, they pushed the door down and she shot Poe.
With the same blaster she used in A New Hope.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like New Hope with her all in white.
The same
and everything.
Sound effect and the little circles, the stun, and she was all wearing white again.
Yeah. We've had this conversation a couple times because, as you guys know, I'm a huge Carrie Fisher fan, and I'm heartbroken that she passed away. We just passed her first year, and it was so sad. Anyway, where to go with Leia? They have her set up so perfectly for the next one to be front and center Carrie. And now there's like no possibility of that. Because they've openly said that they're not going to do CGI. Which I understand. But I just don't know where the writers are going to take it now. If they had her planned to be the main character.
I'm thinking we jump 10 years.
Maybe.
You know, we did that between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. There was a 10-year jump. You make a 10-year jump. The crawl starts off saying... Princess Leia has died.
See, and I think that's a shitty way to do it. I hope that they're more creative than we are. Because I've heard a couple people say that.
I'm no writer, so, definitely I hope they do better than
I've heard a couple people say, like, they're just going to put Princess Leia has died in the crawl. And I think there needs to be a better send-off.
Yeah. Although they did film some stuff for Episode 9 when they were filming Episode 8. So if they have some Carrie stuff, Did they
really?
That's what I heard.
Weird.
That they had some stuff that they were going to film ahead of time. But I don't know. It could have been Mark Hamill with his hair long. It could have been some Force Ghost stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I think it really easy, whatever storyline they go with, make her a hologram. That would be so easy. You can even make her a tiny one.
Yeah.
To do some sort of send-off. I don't know how they're going to send that off, and it makes me mad.
But if they do the 10-year jump, then Rey would have time to find other people to help train, and she would be more accomplished.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel sorry for Disney. Good luck with that. Figuring that out. And then watching the movie, knowing that obviously they made this movie, not knowing that Carrie was gonna die. So much of the movie sounds like they knew she was gonna die. Like the line between Luke and Leia, like no one's ever really gone. Oh, I almost started tearing up the second time we saw that. I was just like, oh my god, don't make me cry in this movie. And then Mark Hamill posted that on the anniversary of her death. Damn him. Yeah. It's so sad. So, moral of the story, we both thought that Carrie Fisher did incredible in this part, and Leia's character was really amazing in this part. Even though sometimes, Carrie and Leia merge. Like that one part where...
Oh, no.
What are you looking at me for?
Yeah, that was definitely Carrie.
But she said all the time that she can't draw the line anymore. They're too intermixed after all this time. Alright, other characters that we already knew. How about we talk about Rey? Daisy Ridley.
A drop of golden sun.
I love Daisy Ridley.
Me too.
And so I love Rey. And I think she's a very good character, new addition to this sequel series.
Very, very good. I enjoyed her in Force Awakens a lot, and I really enjoyed her in this.
Yep. I think she's a really good actress, and I think that the different things that Rey kind of did in this one, she's much different than Force Awakens already.
Yes.
She was very naive in
Yes.
Force Awakens, and she's not anymore.
She's got more of her shit together. Even
Yeah.
on the island, you know, she was telling Luke, you know, hey,
Yeah.
you need to do this, we need to do this.
Yeah.
I need to be trained.
Yeah, exactly. And her, what were the people calling it, the Force timing?
Force time. Not FaceTime,
Force
time.
time with Ben, I found interesting.
I thought that was great.
I think that's some of her best acting in this one, was when she's pissed at him.
Yeah. You're a monster.
Because we have, like, Han died like a week ago. She watched him kill his dad a week ago. Like, or so, with this. Days, if that. So she's still very bitter. But I found that to be interesting, and I don't know. I just thought that the character didn't improve because I didn't have a problem with it, but it grew greatly.
Yeah, her character definitely had some character development.
And then we have her parents' reveal, which I think is bullshit.
No, well, I don't like that.
I don't either. And
I mean, she didn't have to be a Skywalker or a Solo, even though I would have liked it.
I started out being dead set. I want her to be part of the Skywalker family. And then I was like, okay, she doesn't have to be. But make her parents somebody. It doesn't even have to be someone we knew. But her parents sold her for booze. I think that is so stupid, and I hope they fix it in the next one.
I mean, it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I know. It could be like something else is going to be revealed. But if that's what they go with, especially after Force Awakens, the entire movie was, who's the girl? The girl. What girl? Oh, just somebody her parents sold for booze.
Yeah.
It's just such an easy way out after that was like the huge question for 2 years. Who's Rey?
Yeah.
She's no one.
There was even a tattoo debate about her.
Was there really?
Me and you.
What? Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, okay, so true story. When I wanted her to be Han and Leia's daughter, this is like back before Force Awakens came out, when they announced that the original 3 were coming back, and that this person had been cast. So I immediately thought she was going to be like Jaina Solo, right? She even looks like her in the illustrations, right? And so we said we were going to get matching tattoos. He would get a Han tattoo, and I would get like a Jaina Solo, Rey tattoo. Well, it turns out she's not related to them, and I'm not getting a Kylo Ren tattoo, so that put that down.
We could still stick with the Indiana Jones and the Mutt Williams if you
I
really
don't want
wanted to go
Mutt
with that.
Williams one either. I don't want a Ben tattoo. I don't want a Mutt Williams tattoo. Why couldn't they just make Jaina Solo a thing?
I get Harrison Ford no matter what, so I'm good.
I know. And then we had Reys Vision on the island, which I think showed a lot more of Rian Johnson's creativity too. I know, right? I think I'm going to do an ASMR thing of that. You guys get a sneak peek. But I thought it was interesting. It almost made me believe like something, it wasn't just her parents were, like I didn't understand the vision. Like I go back and I look at Luke's vision, I completely understand it.
Oh yeah, if you keep going along a dark path, you're going to become Vader.
And that was
easy
before,
to explain.
Before we even knew he was his father.
Yeah.
It's like it made sense. And even Rey's vision from Force Awakens made more sense to me. I don't know if this one was just like artistic or if there's like a purpose behind it. It started making me think she was a clone or something with like the assembly line of Rey.
Yeah, it kind of did look like the battle droids or the
it did, right?
Coming off.
Which is weird, but you know, I don't know. I just hope that there's some more story to it. And was there like any?
I did like the little single ladies thing with her hand that she was doing.
Yeah, she did kind of do the single ladies thing, didn't she? Yeah, I don't know. Her Force vision was interesting, and I don't know if it was supposed to have a purpose or if it was just Rian Johnson's creativity.
And the one thing that I heard in Force Awakens is how could she know how to use the lightsaber at the end? Mm-hmm. Well, if anybody paid attention, she was using her bow staff, and she was kicking the shit out of people on Jakku.
Yep.
We got to see that on the island when she went after Luke with the bow staff.
Yeah.
And he whipped up that antenna or that stick or whatever he had. and they went at each other. So she's obviously got hand-to-hand combat with stuff. It's the same with Finn.
Yeah.
You know.
He has training.
He has training. So, I mean, no, he's not going to be a Jedi with it. And Rey is not going to be a full-fledged Jedi, but she's going to have an idea how to use it.
I did really like that part in Last Jedi when she was practicing with the bow staff, and then she, like, had, like, a light bulb go off, and she's like, I'll practice with the lightsaber.
Yes.
I did like that, and how she's kind of having fun with it, and then she fucks up the island, and the little dudes are pissed at her.
The nuns.
Is that what they're called?
Well, I heard
toad nuns.
They look like little frogs, but they were wearing kind of a habit, like a nun, and they were like the caretakers of the island, so they were like the Jedi nuns, kind of.
Wasn't the island in Ireland a monastery?
I believe it was,
The real location?
Yeah.
Do you know how much tourism that island's getting now? I want to go.
I would go.
I want to so go. I already want to go to Ireland. Let's go.
I want to take a lightsaber to the top, and I want to throw it over my shoulder.
Oh, that sass. Oh, my God. Oh, that sass. Oh, let's see. And then her on the island. My all-time favorite moment on the island with her and Luke is, all right, reach out. And her arm goes out, and then he, like, touches her with the leaf.
Do you feel that? Yeah, yes, I feel that.
It's the Force.
Schwack!
That's another amazing Mark Hamill part, where he's just, the sass is strong, and he just is like, Jesus, I ran away from this shit. Like, what are you doing?
Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill were amazing in that scene.
Yes.
Because the look on her face, I feel it. She was just so excited.
He rolls his eyes.
And he's just like, oh my gosh, what am I dealing with here?
Now he knows how Yoda felt.
Just didn't get the piggyback ride.
No piggyback rides. They did do that behind the scenes shot for us, though. Oh, I love that.
And I saw a cartoon online.
Oh yeah, people do that cartoon.
Piggyback rides I miss.
Oh my gosh. And then you actually told me, because you heard it, that Rey took the Jedi books. And I totally missed that shit.
So did I. But I heard it. I am a big podcast listener, and I listen to movie reviews of everything from Justice League to the Avengers to Star Wars. I listen to a lot. And they said that Rey had taken the books and that they were on the Falcon.
So the second time we saw it, I noticed her put something in the drawer, and then when later on in the movie, when Finn's getting the blanket for Rose, I saw something, they were focused on something in the drawer. But I couldn't tell what the hell they were focusing on. Yeah. So it's like, I knew something was going on, but I didn't know if it was like an Easter egg for the original, like seeing the remote thing. I didn't know if it was that.
Or the masks from when they were inside
I didn't know if it was just like an Easter egg or if it was important. I totally missed the point that she took the Jedi books. And then it's kind of with Yoda's line is like she already has
what she needs.
Yeah. So either he's just being super sassy to Luke, or he doesn't know.
They are not.
Oh my gosh. So Rey was a good for us. Daisy Ridley.
So. Yeah. Very much so.
I guess we're not very picky.
I am very easy when it comes to Star Wars.
This is true.
Because I am such a fan that I just want more. Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll find out a little bit later that I even liked the holiday special in 1978.
Once more. But then we have the Han Solo movie coming out that I am desperately hoping they cancel because I don't want it. Take it back. I don't want it. But that's a different story. Alright. Another character that we already knew was Poe. And everyone says that they turned Poe into an asshole. And I disagree. Well, to an extent. So. I think he is an asshole. Because the way he kind of treats Holdo, he kind of is. But I understand his point.
He's a rogue. You know?
He's worried for the Resistance.
He's not an asshole for himself.
No.
All his concerns and everything he does is for the goodness of the Resistance.
But I do agree with Leia at the beginning part, with him just being like hotshot pilot, not listening. He cost them a lot at the beginning.
Leia was 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because they won the battle, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the war.
Yeah, they lost so much. Oh, there was so much casualty in this movie.
You have to sacrifice in war, but unnecessary sacrifice is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Although his flying the X-wing around on that dreadnought with the whipping around and
making the TIE fighters fall apart.
That was amazing.
It was all good stuff, but it was
still holding for General Hux. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
There was a lot of good comedy in this too that I think was better the second time around also. Some of it was just so funny. And I did think the second time we saw it about the slap, Leia slapping him, He said that they filmed that so many times that his cheek started hurting because Carrie was like, slap, slap.
Would you expect nothing else from Carrie
I
Fisher?
know, right? Oh, it's so funny. But so I do understand like people saying like he was kind of an asshole and everything, but I think that was the whole point because his character completely changed by the end of the movie, and that was the point for the character in this one. Like by the end, he can go lead the resistance because he understands what Leia was saying.
And the whole time, I just felt like Leia was grooming him to take over.
Yes, Leia needs to adopt Poe and get rid of Ben.
Yes. She was grooming Poe to lead the resistance. That's why she said, you need to get your head out of your cockpit.
Yeah. I understood that there was something going on with Holdo. So it made me be like, oh, Poe, just like trust her. But then from his point of view, I understood you have this new admiral coming in that she won't tell you anything. And clearly it wasn't just Poe because he had his whole little posse with him.
Yes.
That was like ready to do whatever to try and help the resistance. And then by the end, when he finally understands things and like Luke's the distraction and they can go, he's just a completely different character by the end. And like you said, he can take over the resistance now.
Yeah.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
That's why Carrie said, what are you looking at me for? Follow him.
I love that part. And then we go to Finn. We briefly touched on him earlier because of the Canto Bight storyline, but I am such a huge fan of John Boyega.
He's great.
I love him in every scene. Even the Canto Bight stuff that I really don't care for. I love John Boyega.
No, even though you don't care about, we don't care about that scene as much.
Yeah.
It doesn't take anything away from his performance. He's great.
I think I really enjoy him.
Even if I didn't get my prediction.
Yes, he thought that Order 67 was going to happen, and that, it was programmed into Finn, and he was going to, like, kill the Resistance, because he ran away from the Stormtroopers.
Execute Order 67.
I thought it was 66.
Oh no, this is the new one.
So yeah, his main storyline with Rose, I wasn't a huge fan of, but I still really enjoyed his performance and everything. It would be, because of John Boyega, because of Finn, I would watch the Canto Bight stuff over and over, like a normal film. I'm not going to fast forward it, like the pod race.
Right.
Because of his performance. And even Rose, like, I wouldn't, because everyone does such a good job during it.
And his showdown with Phasma.
Oh, yeah, his showdown with Phasma. Oh,
was great.
It was so good.
And I don't know if we're jumping to the end like that, but the showdown with Phasma, we needed that.
Yeah.
My only wish, we're kind of going into Phasma here, I wish he'd have made her take the helmet completely off.
Yeah.
Because she had such a problem with that.
Yeah.
Who gave you permission to remove that helmet?
Yeah.
Make her take the helmet off.
I don't know if this is in a book or what people were saying, that it's been very hush-hush that Finn left the First Order because they don't want more stormtroopers to get the nerve up to do it.
Oh, I can definitely see that. In that case, you should just shoot him.
Yeah, I know.
Don't have a big elaborate
debate about it.
And get the laser cheese grater out to,
I do love I love that his, sanitation worker came into play in this one, that it actually was helpful.
Yes.
Instead of use for it on Starkiller base.
And everybody always said R2-D2 looked like a garbage can, so what'd they do to BB-8? They flipped a garbage can over and put it on him.
How shitty is the First Order BB-8 unit that he can't see another BB-8 unit under a garbage can?
Yeah, but I did enjoy BB-8 going dun, 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 like the mouse droids. That was hilarious.
Alright, other characters. Ben/Kylo Ren. That guy got so many names.
I think that character has drastically improved.
Yes.
He was a whiny turd in the first movie, and he's still kind of a whiny
now,
turd.
fangirls, don't kill us.
But he's a much better character. He's much more threatening now. I mean, he'll never be Vader.
No.
And you're never going to be as strong as Darth Vader. And I don't think he'll ever beat Darth Vader. But he's a lot more of a bad. He's a threat. He's a
better villain now.
He's a better villain now.
And that doesn't. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, we're so sympathetic for him," and I'm not there. I'm not there. Okay, I can't believe that Han and Leia were that shitty of parents that you're gonna go join the First Order and kill your dad. I don't want redemption for him, but I do want him to be a good villain.
Yes.
I don't want the
And he and
Reylo bullshit.
he and Rey having the Force time and then coming together was incredible. We'll probably get into that in a bit.
Probably. I will say that I'm glad that he didn't pull the trigger to kill Leia or blow the deck.
Yeah.
Because that was in the trailer, and I was pissed. I was like, you best not kill your mom. You just killed your dad. Come on. But I'm in, like we said, like, he's a good villain now, and I'm interested in him becoming the main villain in the next one.
Yes.
Like, step it up, and I don't want redemption. Please don't just...
No, we don't need redemption.
I don't want redemption, because how is that gonna work? Even, like, let's think about this. Even if he has redemption, like, are him and Rey gonna be best friends now? You watched him murder his father. You gonna be best buds with him now? That would have been the same thing for Vader, if he hadn't have died. Redemption. You gonna go to dinner now with my family, Han and Leia? You know this guy, you frozen carbonite? Like, you gonna go be all family now? No, you killed a lot of people. Like,
definitely.
Ben just watched the entire Republic get blown up. And you can't tell me that, he might have heard stories of Alderaan getting blown up as a kid, maybe. Your mom's Princess Leia.
Yeah.
It's just, it irritates me. But he's a better villain.
He is a better villain now.
I just don't, I don't fangirl over him as so many people do and want, the redemption arc. I want him to be a villain. I want to dislike him.
And there's definitely no doubt now who's in charge.
Yeah.
Between Hux and Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Definitely Kylo Ren is in charge.
There's no...
General Weasley is not in charge.
No. There. Hux. We can talk about Hux. He had so many funny bits that it's just...
Going back to the still holding for General Hux. Yeah. Tall, pasty guy.
So funny. When Snoke slams him to the deck... Oh my god, I was like, did you break your nose?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then... I keep mentioning it when Ben, Kylo Ren, whatever, is laying passed out and he, starts to pull his blaster out and then he's like, oh shit, he's waking up, never mind.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But that's when, who says you're in charge? Well, I got the Force choke, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, I'm in charge.
But see, he's had so much of that comedy, or when they're, shooting Luke at the end and, do you think you got him?
Yes.
Another character that we already knew was Chewbacca, Chewie. His part was smaller, but still good. Still good to see Chewie.
His parts in it were great. Mm-hmm. From cooking the porg.
Yeah.
You already cooked it. You might as well eat it, buddy. I'd have more problem if he was killing it in front of him, but he'd already cooked it. Even though the little one's going, "That's my mama,"
And I love him flicking the porgs out of the cockpit as he's trying to fly the ship. And did you notice he still sits in the co-pilot seat? Oh.
Well, I think that's because he's got more leg room over there.
This is true, but
he is 7 feet tall.
My favorite Chewbacca moment was when he banged the door down because Luke wouldn't open.
Luke wouldn't open the door, so
he's
he
just
knocked it down.
Bam! And he's like, hi.
And seeing Chewie and Luke together was pretty epic.
Yeah. And a lot of people thought that we weren't going to get reference to Han's death, but we got multiple references.
Yes.
Rey mentioned it to Ben, and Luke asked where Han was.
Yeah. And the Falcon's here. Chewie, where's Han?
Yeah.
And you find out later he shut himself off from the Force,
which would make sense.
He wouldn't have felt Han's death.
That was a big debate at the end of Force Awakens, because everyone was like, does Luke know what happened? But he wouldn't. He,
no.
Closed it all off. He wouldn't have any idea. And then you've mentioned, with your Yoda voice, we did get a Yoda cameo in this one.
Yes, and it was a little bit of senile Yoda.
Senile Yoda is my favorite.
Not quite seagulls, but
Not
it
quite
was
seagulls.
Good. It was good.
But it was so weird, because the first time we saw it, and Yoda popped up, I was like, oh god, he's really weird CG. Why? And then he morphs into a puppet.
Yes.
Which looked so much better. I don't know why they had two different versions of Yoda within the same scene. It was weird to me.
Mark Hamill has the ability to act with a puppet.
Yeah.
And convince you that puppet is alive.
Yeah. Frank Oz and Mark Hamill do really good together.
Really good. Even when Mark Hamill was on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
You were convinced that they were alive
real.
because he has the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And it was great to see Yoda again. And
I hoped that was one of my hopes for this movie, that there would be some sort of Force ghost, since they're on the Jedi Island.
Yeah.
Whether it be Yoda or Obi-Wan or Vader.
And he called him young Skywalker.
I know, which is so funny. That's so funny. Because he's old.
Not so young Skywalker now, are you?
There was a kid in our theater the first time we saw it that asked his parents why Luke and Leia were so old now. You poor child.
It's been a little bit of time.
It's been some time, buddy. Other characters. Okay, I wanted to mention Lieutenant Connix just because I'm a Billie Lourd fan. So, and we did have her in Force Awakens, so this was the second time we've seen her. Billie Lourd,
Well, go ahead.
Billie Lourd, in case you guys don't know, is Carrie Fisher's daughter. So it's very heartwarming to see her in Star Wars. What were you going to say?
I did not know Billie Lourd when we saw The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Cassie had to point out to me who it was, and I knew she had a daughter, but I didn't know who she was. But in between, I've watched Scream Queens.
Yep.
I've watched American Horror Story.
Yep.
I really enjoy her, and the fact that she came back in this with a, she was a glorified extra.
Yeah, but
it was great.
So much more noticeable. Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be on a Star Wars movie and say the words "punch it"?
I know. I love that. And then she was part of Poe's little crew and everything. Yep. And I found that funny because like Leia's pointing their guns at her and it's like pointing her guns at her daughter. That was funny. But I enjoyed seeing more of Billie, especially just knowing that she's said multiple times that this was almost a gift to her, this movie was, because she got to work with Carrie one last time.
Yeah.
Before she died. So, I just really enjoy Billie Lourd.
And I'm good with her coming back in an even bigger part.
Yeah.
In the next one.
I would totally be interested in seeing that.
She could get promoted to captain.
I don't even want to know how difficult that would be for her, going back to a Star Wars movie without her mom, but...
I think that would be really difficult.
My heart for her. I don't know if you guys saw the Star Wars celebration that happened in May. They did like a huge Carrie tribute. And Billie came out and did the entire Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi speech. Yes. The entire thing on stage.
My mom taught me everything I needed to know about Star Wars.
And then
years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars. And she did the whole speech.
The whole speech. It was incredible.
It was great.
Yes.
It was great.
So, awesome to see more of Billie Lourd in that. And then I included the Falcon as a character.
Oh, of course.
Because, of course, we knew the Falcon was going to be with them on the island. But Falcon had some really great moments in this, I feel like.
Very much so.
Like, seeing the shadow on the planet's surface was, like, a total fan moment for me. I loved it.
I have always loved the Millennium Falcon. I have never seen it as a piece of junk. I always thought it was just a super cool ship.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky! I love that as much as Ben tries to forget his dad, it's like, oh, look, there's your dad's ship.
Exactly. But it was great. And just, seeing Luke walk through it.
Yes. I loved that too.
Grabbing the dice that I never noticed in the originals.
Yeah, I noted that from...
but going back and looking at pictures, they're there. They're hanging right there.
The Falcon did get to use the escape pod for the first time.
Yes, you heard about the escape pods in The New Hope.
Yeah.
Because when they captured the Falcon on the Death Star, there's several of the escape pods have been jettisoned.
Yeah.
But you've never seen where they are or what they are. You didn't know they were coffins. It was a
weird escape pod.
I've seen pods like that in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Kalar, Worf's Cheeky Babe.
Cheeky Babe.
She arrived one time in one like that. So I've seen that kind of escape pod before.
Right.
But mostly the escape pods were like 3PO and R2 in A New Hope.
Mark Hamill did say that the first day he went aboard the built Falcon, that they were filming, so I'm hoping for behind the scenes on that, like him stepping on it again when he was with his kids and everything. And then last bit of character stuff, I included just the droids, really, 3PO and R2 and BB-8.
3PO always gets shit on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his lot in life.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, telling the odds. Poe telling him shut up.
Yep.
Very Han and 3PO moment.
Oh yeah.
R2 R2 is the unsung hero of the Star Wars saga.
He is, yeah.
Because all the way back to saving the Naboo.
Yeah. He's an
cruiser,
antique.
He is 50, 60 years old.
Mark Hamill even said that. He was like, R2 has saved more people than any character in Star Wars, and he's never gotten a medal.
Very true.
I really enjoyed R2 playing Leia's message to
hologram.
Luke. And that's another moment where we didn't know she was going to die, but that feels like it was honoring her. It's like,
I choked up at that.
It's so...
Just seeing Mark look at that as an old man.
That's not fair.
That it was so in R2's character to do something like that. And that's I have always been an R2-D2 fan. I was so worried about BB-8 taking over R2's, glory.
And it's weird. It's weird for the droids to have such different characters because they're droids.
Yes.
But R2 and BB-8 are completely different characters.
Completely different. Yeah.
BB-8 reminds me of a happy little puppy.
He is.
He's like Poe's little puppy.
Especially when Finn and Rose crashed, and the way Poe went up, you guys are, where's my droid?
Yeah.
and when he went up to him, he put his head down you would do to a dog.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have no problem with BB-8, and R2 is still king shit.
Yep, he's awesome. And I did like BB-8 firing, like tapping into whatever, and like firing to the different stormtroopers, and like Finn and Rose just like look at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? What is happening?
Well, BB-8 did have the good moment of firing the coins at the guards.
Oh, he did have that moment, didn't he?
Yes. He tied up all the guards, and he was firing the coins like a machine gun.
Mm-hmm. I did like the part at the beginning, too, when he was trying to, like, fix it, and he had different wires going out everywhere trying to fix the X-Wing.
If fixing an X-Wing is like a little boy sticking his finger in the dike to hold the water back.
Exactly. Exactly. And him flying out of, like, the hangar when all of the X-Wings get blown.
Yeah.
And him, like, flying up. That was another... It's like they lost everybody.
But we know where there's another X-Wing for
I
Poe.
know, right? Yo, go back to the island. Rey saw it. She saw it. They could totally...
I thought that was so cool to look down and see the submerged X-Wing.
Yes.
What better place to hide it? We know we can raise an X-Wing out of the water.
Yep. This is true.
So take Rey back there, raise it out, and then Poe's got himself another X-Wing.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to be in charge next time, so he probably won't be flying.
Oh, he will be.
He's going to Captain Kirk it.
Yeah. Stop making Star Trek references in my Star Wars podcast.
I'm sorry.
You traitor.
I'm sorry. I am a Star Trek fan, but I have a Star Wars tattoo, and I do not have a Star Trek tattoo.
See, Wars ranks the Trek. So one of the biggest shocks and probably favorite scenes at the same time between both of us was between Snoke and Rey and Ben.
Yes.
Those whole moments. And we've said it multiple times, and I hope other people have noticed it, because how could you not? The references between Rey and Snoke and Luke and the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. It's so much of it.
So much.
So much, like Rey looking out the window and Luke looking out the window. Some of the lines that Snoke had are so close to the Emperor's.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. I've seen it a couple times. So every single close reference, it was so similar.
In a way, this movie was kind of a little bit Empire and a little bit Jedi.
Yeah, probably.
Because you had a lot of similar... You had the escaping the base at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you had the walkers at the end.
Did Jakar not have an ion cannon? Or is that outdated technology now?
Well...
That's what they used on Hoth.
That's what they used on Hoth, and they used ion torpedoes in Rogue One.
I don't know. So I guess the shocking bit for that scene with Rey, Ben, and Snoke was that Snoke died.
Yeah.
Already.
Did not see that coming. You usually kill the bad guy in the third movie.
Yeah, usually.
Not the second movie. What's going on?
And it's like, I understand that they want Kylo Ren to be the big bad. We want that. That's fine. But who the fuck was Snoke?
Yeah, that's the problem. We don't know who Snoke was. I guess we don't need to know who he was.
Yes, we do.
But I do.
I am such a big Han and Leia fan. Okay, you ruined their life. I need to know who you are.
Yeah, I need some kind of a reference to something about.
It's probably
going to
be a book.
Probably.
Star Wars does that way too often sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, we won't explain it in the movie. Here's a book about it.
Well, no, Darth Plagueus.
Yeah.
The novelization of Darth Plagueis
and
explained all of that.
It's supposed to be the same thing with Jyn Erso from Rogue One. Like, a lot of her backstory stuff is in her book. That makes more of Rogue One make sense.
Well, I listened to the audiobook of Catalyst, which was the prequel to Rogue One, which explained a lot of Krennic and Jyn's dad,
right.
And Galen Erso and all that stuff. But you shouldn't have to put it in a book.
Yeah, that's a problem that sometimes Star Wars relies on. But even though they killed Snoke super fast, I loved his death.
Oh, his death was incredible.
And, like, the way that Ben tricked him, because, like, you know...
He can read his mind.
Okay. So I'll just play you right back, then.
Exactly.
The twist of the lightsaber.
As soon as that lightsaber started moving on the arm, I'm just going, oh my gosh. And then...
Yeah, and then he got sliced to bits.
And then we actually got to see the Red Guards do something.
I know,
they were a little slow.
A little bit slow to the party.
Oh, the guy we're protecting's cut in half.
Perhaps we should do something.
That would be Snoke Part 1 and Part 2.
You know, I think someone said that one of his arms got cut off. Does that count as, like, the second movie? It wasn't the hero, though. Or the hero.
Well, neither was the guy in the cantina.
Well, I'm talking about, like, Anakin in Attack of the Clones, Luke in Empire.
Yes.
This one.
But arms are always getting cut off.
Arms are always... And Ben's almost did get cut off against the guards. I thought it was going. I was like, oh, shit, his arm's gonna go.
But that lightsaber battle with Rey and Ben fighting the Red Guards was probably now my second favorite lightsaber battle.
Yeah, the lightsaber battle between Rey and Ben was easily one of my favorites.
Definitely. It was the whole back-to-back thing, and using each other's lightsabers, and just the way they were fighting together.
And it was with the different weapons, too, because it's like, obviously the guards didn't have lightsabers.
No.
So they had, like, the rope chain-looking thing. And...
Yeah, chain things, and almost what I look like a laser cheese grater, and you know,
there's probably names in the visual dictionary.
I know there's like forced pike, but I don't know if that was one of them or if that was from the prequels.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. And when Rey was being held and she dropped the lightsaber and then dropped down and caught it, and then swung around and cut his legs off and then cut him in half and then threw the lightsaber to Ben.
Yep, and he just
ignited
turned it, and did right through the eye.
That was my second favorite lightsaber battle in a Star Wars movie. The first one is from The Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. I absolutely love that one.
That's some good stuff.
Anakin and Obi-Wan in Sith was really good. But I still love the one with Darth Maul just because Ray Park was so good. And
I'm like so partial to the one in Force Awakens now, and it's not because shouldn't be high on the list because it's visually beautiful.
It is.
The lightsaber battle itself is, like you had said earlier, Rey doesn't exactly know what she's doing, so she's just hacking at him. No,
she keeps trying to stab. Yeah. The lightsaber's not a stabbing weapon. Yeah. It can stab.
So it's not like the best choreography, but they did that on purpose.
No, they did it on purpose because she wasn't fully skilled.
That shows even more of her growth because she was perfectly fine with the lightsaber in this one now.
Yes.
Even though, like, she had the brief training, but guess what? So did Luke. Everybody gets, like, a couple days training, and then they go and save people.
Yeah, the prequels, you had to be trained for years and years and years. Yeah. Now you just need 3 days on an island or a swamp.
Yep, and then you're good. But, yeah, their choreography and everything, Adam and Daisy did really good with that stuff.
No, it was incredible. Incredible. My favorite part of the movie was that.
Yeah, it's good. Go into Ben's whole, rule the galaxy together as father and son, that Anakin lines, whether he's talking to Padme or he's talking to Luke.
Yep.
It's the same stuff, and I'm so glad that Rey didn't. Oh, okay. It's like no, it's like the recognition she gets on her face. It actually kind of reminded me of Natalie Portman when she realizes, like, no, he's not gonna. I worked so hard to try and bring him back, and he's just not going to.
Yeah, I can't save this guy.
Yeah. And then fighting over the lightsaber, and it busted in half.
Yeah.
It was so good as they scooch across the floor.
Yeah, that was some epic force powers.
Yes. And then it broke in half. And then it took me the second time to realize that Rey took the lightsaber pieces.
She had it at the end.
She had it at the end talking to Leia.
I didn't notice it till the second
time. There was so much in this movie.
There is so much to process on the first viewing.
I was just
overwhelmed. You have to see it again.
Yeah.
I'll watch this one, 100 more times.
It's just a lot to process.
It'd be kind of like Force Awakens.
We've watched that movie so many times. Oh my gosh. I think...
Every time Cassie comes out, watching Force Awakens again, huh? Yep. Then she sits down.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're watching this movie again? Oh, let's sit down. My biggest problem is, if it's like early on in the movie, I'll be like, okay, it's not that far until Leia comes, and that's like one of my favorite parts. So we'll just sit here and watch. Oh, look, there's Leia. Oh, now we're on to Car. Oh, now we're gonna go to Star. Oh, look, the movie's over.
Exactly.
It's bad. So one of my biggest expectations for this movie. I needed, and I hoped that they had filmed it, because you can't film it now, was a Luke and Leia reunion.
Oh.
And we actually got one. And I was very emotional. I had a lot of feelings with all of it.
Yeah, I am such a Star Wars fan that I really enjoy the mythology. I have been a fan since I was 12 years old. And this is my mythology that I like to believe in. And so seeing things like Leia and Luke together and that kind of stuff, it was so many things in this movie choked me up.
Yeah.
And I just loved it.
See, my biggest, disappointment with this sequel series, and a lot of people probably agree, is, there is no trio reunion.
Yes.
We ended that the minute we killed Han before we introduced Luke. There's no Han, Leia, and Luke reunion, which is so sad. And I go reference, the legends now, the books, so much, where Luke was, very happy guy, and we had Mara Jade, and we had Jason and Jaina and Anakin Solo. We had all of these, happy bits, kind of, and then there was, darker bits too, but it's just completely different now. So, since we're not going to get the trio, I needed the Luke and Leia reunion,
yes.
And it only amplified when Carrie died.
Yes.
Because then we knew for a fact it's not going to be in the next one.
Right.
And I remember in the theater, the first time we saw it, when Luke walks down the hallway, you're like, why the hell is his beard different?
Oh.
the minute he walked down the hallway.
The minute I'm a guy with a beard. I notice these things, and I go, why is his beard dark? And I'm going, do you get some Grecian formula for men on the way there?
It's like, why is it different?
He had some stashed in the X-wing when he pulled it out to fly there.
But there was... I knew the first time around, I knew something was off with him there. But then at the same time, it confused me because I was paying attention, and I was like, Leia's not only seeing him, 3PO just saw him.
Yes.
So it's
Poe
not...
saw him.
Everyone saw him, so it's like...
His kids saw him.
I know, Mark Hamill's kids are in the shot, and you guys have to watch for that. When Luke is walking out to face Ben, his 3 kids pop up behind Poe. And I think that's amazing. I love little cameos like that. I think that's awesome. But it was confusing to me, because at first it's like, oh, it's a Force connection. Leia sees him. That makes sense. No, it's a big Force connection, because everybody
saw him.
And I think that's another thing that makes more sense of, Luke's final act before he dies or gives himself to the Force. That's a lot of power.
Yes.
That's a lot.
And they mentioned earlier, Ben mentioned to Rey, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
This would destroy you.
Yeah.
So
and they say that Snoke did it because he was more powerful.
Snoke did it. Yeah.
But to do it,
he turned on the Force time.
The Force time. But I did hear that a lot of Luke and Leia's scene, Carrie helped write. So going back to those, no one's ever really gone. Oh my god! Just tear my heart out and stomp on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then we had mentioned the damn dice. Luke grabs the dice from the Falcon when he's on the island, and then he gives the fake little Force dice to Leia. And I had no idea what the fuck those were. I had to look it up after we saw it the first time.
Me too.
And it's from the Falcon from New Hope. You can see him hanging, and it's something that was of Han's, which makes the scene totally different. Luke's giving something of Han's to Leia, and then says no one's ever really gone. It's a little bit more emotional, but I am convinced those dice will play a part in the Han Solo movie.
I have no doubt about that.
Because no one knew. You have been a fan of the movie for how many years? And you had I was like, what are the dice? And you're like, I don't fucking know.
I'm going I know gooberfish, and I don't know this.
What is it? So it's just weird that they would include that. I did like it, but it's totally going to be winning the Falcon from Lando with those. I totally think that's what it's going to be.
Having dice hanging in the Falcon makes sense because George Lucas was a hot rodder, and he was a hot rodder in the 60s. If you've seen American Graffiti.
I was going to say, people are saying it was supposed to be referenced to American Graffiti.
And fuzzy dice hanging from the mirror. I had them in my truck when I was in high school, and, so it makes sense to have them in the Falcon.
Yeah. I just didn't get it. But seeing it the second time, like I said, it totally changed it, makes it much more emotional, and then the Han and Leia theme plays, because I'm a sucker for scores. So.
Yeah, there's a couple callback scores in here that were tearjerkers.
Mm-hmm. There's some, yeah.
Twin Sons.
Oh,
Oh.
that was horrible. Oh, it was like happy, and then okay, I will say I felt like such an asshole because after Luke like fights Ben and he like is back on the island, and I was like, oh damn, he's gonna need a nap, and then he disappeared. And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he died. Oh no, he died. You guys need to see the trailer for Game Night.
Looking forward to that one. That one looks hilarious.
Gosh. And then the boots not leaving the red marks for Luke.
I didn't see it
Didn't see it the first time. Had to have someone tell me.
Yeah, I missed it.
But totally saw it the second time. That's great directing.
Yes.
That's so creative.
What? And then he lit up a blue lightsaber.
That confused me. I was like, why is it blue? That one just broke apart. Why is it blue?
You know, when they had the flashback memory of...
It was green.
It was the green one from Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. And then when he lit up the blue one with a dark beard...
Yeah.
What is not right here, you know?
And it was like reference to, I assume, the last time Ben and Leia saw him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That has to be what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked the way they knew him, not the gray-haired, super old man that he became. But still, Mark Hamill looked badass. Yeah. He looked great.
And his, like, Matrix move?
Yes, the Matrix
against
move.
The lightsaber was pretty good.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, when fire everything at that man.
I know.
And he walks off, brushing off his shoulder.
Yes.
Oh, that was so funny. Do you think you got him?
And this is like another thing that if you like compare Kylo Ren, like so many people are like, Kylo Ren, he's gonna be the next Darth Vader. No, he's not. Because do you think that perhaps Darth Vader would have noticed that that was a Force projection?
Vader would have known.
Ben is like way too all over the place. And he's
emotional.
Better, like we said, he's much better than from Force Awakens, but he's just way too, I'd say emotional, but God, Anakin was so emotional too.
Well, Anakin was emotional, Vader wasn't.
Yeah, I think like Padme died, motion off, done.
Yeah, he kind of shut everything off. And you know, you had 19 years between emotional Anakin and the Vader that walks into the Tantive 4.
Yeah.
Or the Vader that walks down the hallway in Rogue One.
Dun dun dun.
But you had time there for him to, you know, lose that emotion and become more of the Dark Lord of the Sith that he was. Where Ben Solo is just so emotional about everything, you know. He doesn't think tactically. You know, when he says fire everything, you know, send every TIE fighter after the Falcon. Yeah. You know, all your coverage, let's send it off after the Falcon. And, you know, Chewie and Rey knew what was going on. They said, let's lead them out of there.
You know what someone said that was very interesting to me? It was like a plot holes type thing that I read. And it's kind of a plot hole, or just like a lot of things happened behind scenes that we didn't get to see, is Rey took Snoke's shuttle.
Yes.
And at some point had to meet up with the Falcon to get into the Falcon to fly down to the planet.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't think about that, but when she shows up, she's in the Falcon with Chewie. So,
I mean, technically they could have docked.
Yeah.
Together, because in Empire, that hole that Lando goes out to bring Luke in,
she could have jumped
that's a docking port. Yeah. You know, you could just dock together and then climb down that ladder. That's what it's there for. At the end of Empire, that's how the Falcon is docked to the medical frigate.
Oh yeah, it's underneath,
It's underneath, and that tube comes down to it, and that's how you get in the Falcon when it's docked to a ship in space. Jesus, I know too much about this shit.
But I really enjoyed the Luke and Ben stuff. Like, one of my favorite actual lines from Ben. I keep saying Ben or Kylo Ren. I don't know what the hell to call him. They were calling him Ben a lot more in this one.
A lot more in this movie.
Especially Rey. She kept calling him Ben. But, like when Luke's like, I'm sorry. I'm sure you are. That was really funny. And then with their whole conversation and like, see you around, kid, you can't tell me he's not going to be in the next one.
No.
People are so upset that he died when there has to be something else going on.
I think there's going to be a Force ghost Luke haunting.
Oh, that would be great. Hey, kid, remember that time you killed your dad? God, that would be good.
You will be visited by 3 ghosts. 3 ghosts you will be visited by?
No, he needs to be visited by, like, Hayden Christensen and have Hayden Christensen go, what the hell, bro?
Yeah.
Did you learn nothing from me?
Yes. And then have Ewan McGregor come in and say, you're really ashamed to that name.
Oh my god, poor guy. We named our child after you. Great! Thanks a lot!
Thank you so much.
Oh, see, that was another one, too. They switched, thinking back to Legends. It was always Ben Skywalker.
Yeah.
That was always Luke's kid. But Luke don't have a kid or a Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Things that we would change about the movie. I think we both agreed that we would do less Canto Bight, more island.
Yes, I would have liked to have seen more on the island. More of the training and all that kind of stuff, because it went fast in Empire too.
Oh yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen more of Luke and Rey together.
And it's like, I understand, like, we can't completely cut out the Canto Bight stuff. It's easily my least favorite part of this movie, although I did enjoy it more second time. But there's just a lot happening that, like, I feel maybe could have been slimmed down. There was a lot of political stuff in the Canto Bight stuff. And of course, Star Wars is very political. It is. But there was like animal rights in there with the Harry Potter horses, as you called them.
Yeah. They
did look like they belonged in Harry Potter. But and like the rich people helping the First Order and the Resistance.
Yeah.
You know, it was very political statement, and I don't have a problem with political statements. It was just a lot to fit into kind of a side story.
Yeah.
Because you have everything else is like, you have the Resistance over here, you have Luke and Rey, and then it was like Rose and Finn, and I don't know. But I don't, at the same time, I'm thinking it like of how to edit it down, and I don't know how you could.
No.
Everything's so connected.
No, it is. And you needed to get Benicio del Toro so you could get on the ship and
do nothing.
And
they did nothing.
They absolutely accomplished nothing.
They accomplished nothing. I kind of thought about that the second time we saw it. It was like they did all of this, then nothing happened.
Yeah.
The escape pods made it to Crate, and there was no point. They literally met up with DJ for him to screw them over, and for Finn to fight Phasma.
And for us to have a Luke and Han in Stormtrooper armor on the Death Star moment where they're in the uniforms infiltrating.
I almost said the Imperial uniform. Same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same wardrobe. I really liked when the iron was coming down and it made it look like a ship.
Yes.
And then it was just like ironing out the...
Wow, that really looks like an iron.
Oh,
it is an iron. Well, Boba Fett's ship was originally a street lamp. That's what it was designed after. Street lamp in England, I believe it was.
So is there anything else that you would change in the movie, or things, or like, we mentioned Snoke. Snoke was, I wanted to know who the hell he was, but now he's gone.
I would have liked some kind of explanation for Snoke, just for me.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think there's anything else I would change. I mean, even the Canto Bight made more sense the second time.
It did. It's just not something like that.
It was the part where I got up to go to the bathroom in the movie, but
yeah. See, that's the point. Like, it's the part where you go like fill up the popcorn, or it's not
right. It wasn't. Once I've seen it once, I didn't really need the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But once I came back and watched it, I'm going, okay, I kind of get this, But
yeah.
I'm just like going, let's get back to the island. Let's get back to the slow chase.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll be curious because hopefully there will be more Finn and Rey in the next one, because we had mentioned Daisy and John's chemistry.
Yes.
And so I kind of hope that Finn's parts are a little bit more entertaining next time.
Yeah. Did we talk about Admiral Holdo's end?
Her death?
Yeah.
We briefly talked about how, she's not coming back.
She's not coming back. Because, the minute she started turning that ship around, I go, oh, she's going to kamikaze that.
Yeah.
That, not a Super Star Destroyer, but, Snoke's ship.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts lighting up the hyperdrive, and I'm going, oh my God.
Yeah.
we saw a hyperdrive ship hit a Star Destroyer in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
The Rebel ship was just lighting up and going to light speed just as the Star Destroyer came in, and all it did was, it bam, right into it.
Yeah.
But this one, she had enough time to build up a little bit more speed, so when she went light speed through it, it was like super kamikaze.
It was killing my soul as they started plucking off the escape pods.
Yeah.
Because we've already lost, like, the entire resistance. The whole resistance fits on the Falcon now. That's a bad sign.
It's not a big ship.
It's not a big ship. And it's, as they were plucking off all of everyone, oh my gosh. I wish that they hadn't killed her.
No. It was...
I had kind of said, and I wouldn't have wanted this for Leia, because I don't want them to kill her, but God knows what Disney will do. But, like, if they would have known, but how do you know someone's gonna die? Like, Leia could have taken her place, and it could have been Leia that did, like, that very heroic death, but
then we wouldn't have got the Luke and Leia scene.
Yeah, that's the point, too. You can't have both.
You can't have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of unfortunate that, like, because she was a really good character, and it would have been a good place for her to step in once Carrie is gone.
Yeah.
But, well, maybe Poe. I don't know.
Yeah, we're setting up Poe.
Setting up Poe.
And then we got following the Crystal Foxes.
Yeah.
To the back exit of the base.
Yeah.
And Rey comes down and the Force is not about lifting rocks. And she goes, lifting rocks. And she lifts all those rocks.
Yep.
And that was just, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big sucker for this stuff. I mean, I didn't hate the prequels. They're not my favorites.
I like to pick them apart.
I like to pick them apart, too. I like to pick all Star Wars
I will
apart.
watch them, but yeah, I do like to pick things apart.
In the prequels, I go, they're having twins? What?
Oh my God, really?
I like to do that kind of stuff. But I'm a sucker for those kind of moments. And when Rey lifts the rocks so everybody can come out, I mean, my first thought was, she's holding them up. You guys might want to move.
Yeah,
Get
move.
out. But then getting on the Falcon and blasting off was pretty epic.
And her, like... They're like little brief, because Snoke's gone now, so it's like that brief little Force timing between Ben and her, and she's like, no, I'm closing the door.
The hatch. Yeah.
So good. I'm sorry, you Rey and Ben lovers. There are so many Reylo shippers. I don't want that. I'm not interested. Neither does Luke. He blew the damn hut off, okay? He doesn't want it either.
Don't touch him!
When Rey and Leia, like, feel Luke die.
Yeah.
Is another good part. I didn't have as big a problem with him dying as everybody seems to.
No.
Because it was more of like a peaceful thing, and then you have the twin sons playing, and you have the theme going, and I really liked it. No, but he's gonna be back, guys.
He's gonna be back. We're gonna have a Force Ghost party in the next one.
Force Ghost party. Rey's gonna be, like, meditating, and, like, Yoda's gonna, like, come and clock her in the head. Alright, is there anything else that we did not cover for The Last Jedi before we rank these movies?
Yes.
What did we not cover?
The little boy.
Oh, that damn... Okay, I tried it because of Canto Bite. I forgot again. The little boy using the Force at the end?
Now, a lot of people I heard said, why did he have a Resistance ring? No, that was Rose's ring.
Rose gave it to him, yeah.
Rose gave it to him.
Yeah.
To say, we're a part of the Resistance, and to give these kids that are basically slaves hope.
Yeah.
And after the Falcon blasts off and you go back to Canobite, and you got these little kids, and they're speaking a language you don't understand, and they've got the little non-licensed Star Wars figures, and they're talking about Luke Skywalker, and the legend is in full force.
Yes.
And then that little boy walks out, and he reaches over to that broom, and the broom flies into his hand, which I missed the first time.
Yep.
And then he walks out, and he looks up at the stars, and then he holds that broomstick like a lightsaber.
And people are questioning if this will tie in to the next one. Like you had said, Rey could have more time to get more Force-sensitive people.
Yes.
Or if it will, because Rian Johnson is doing a spin-off trilogy that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers, but is in the universe.
Yes.
So it could be something like that. We don't know. Or it could just be, like, kind of like what Luke said. Like, the Jedi needed to die because the Jedi are fuck-ups, and you can have the Force. You're not necessarily like the Jedi Order.
Well, they could make a new Jedi Order that doesn't follow the curriculum of the old Jedi.
Yeah.
Where it's more along the ways that Qui-Gon said, the living Force.
Yeah.
And, they don't have to be so like monks.
Yeah.
But they could still be a force to deal with for good. There's lots of ways they can rewrite that, which I would be fine with. Because once we saw the Jedi in the prequels, they were real set in their ways, and Qui-Gon seriously was the rockinest
This one
Jedi.
was in Last Jedi 2. It was weird. It's like weird because it's like it's all the same thing, and it's all connected. But to actually hear Mark Hamill talk about the prequels,
Yeah,
he references the Jedi Order getting destroyed by Darth Sidious. And it's like direct reference to the prequels was weird to me, but good at the same time. But
the prequels happened.
yeah.
Anybody who don't like it, face it. They're not the best of them. I know
Star
that.
Wars is...
But that's what George Lucas laid down. That's the history we have to deal with.
This is my funniest thing when people say that this movie has ruined Star Wars. Star Wars is not perfect, my friends. George Lucas, you have to give him props. He created this entire universe, okay? But there are some issues with the prequels there. And
lots of issues with the prequels.
I am never going to say that Phantom Menace is better than this movie.
No.
I can't. I'm sorry. There's two, and I really appreciated some of Rian Johnson's directing in this movie. I thought there was a lot of beautiful shots. It was practical, wasn't on a green screen for a lot of it.
That's the worst thing about the prequels is it looks so cartoony.
Yeah.
Until in Revenge of the Sith, when you have Jimmy Smits walking down the real set of the hallway of the Tantive Four. The movie completely changes the look. When you see that, you're going, oh, real sets! Oh, my Lanta!
You remember when the title got released and everyone's like, Jedi, is that plural? Or is that singular? And there was like, in a different language, it meant plural. I think it is supposed to be plural.
Well, I did like when Luke told Ben, I am not the last Jedi.
Oh, yeah. That whole part with Rey and moving the rocks, that whole sequence was edited so nicely. I really liked it. And then, I want to see the deleted scene of Ben walking back to the walkers like, fuck, damn it, they just saw me lose to a Force dude. I want to see that.
Well, I don't think Hux is going to say anything because he force-shoved Hux across the cockpit there. Just wham!
And the driver's like, oh, right away, sir.
He says, I should have paid more attention at Hogwarts.
Oh my god. Everyone calls him General Weasley. It's so funny.
It's funny because he doesn't even look like the same character to me.
No, he doesn't.
You had to tell me he was a Weasley.
From Harry Potter.
I just thought he was a redheaded British dude.
He doesn't even look like, especially in this one I noticed, like, the circles under his eyes are really dark. He looks like pasty and everything. And in interviews, he's just a happy and funny guy.
I didn't even recognize him in that one interview you showed me. I'm going, that's Hux?
That's Hux.
That's the guy that was screaming in front of the Costco parking lot in the last movie?
Yep. Is there any other cameos that we didn't mention that we have heard about? We heard about
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
You mentioned Joseph Canto-Bite. What's Bane's name?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, but he's a stormtrooper.
He's a stormtrooper.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I hear he's in the elevator.
Okay.
But I would have to see it again to actually focus on it. And then the princes.
The princes, but I heard that Prince William and Prince Harry got cut.
Yes.
Which is sad.
I mean, if you got the princes in, you put them in stormtrooper outfits, why wouldn't you want them in there?
I know, right?
I mean,
just somehow cut.
I mean, we got James Bond in the last one, and he actually got a speaking role.
Everybody wants the cameos. I still think the best cameo is Mark Hamill's kids.
No, that was great.
Watching their dad walk out, that's so great.
And, for a long time, Mark Hamill didn't want to have anything to do with Star Wars conventions or anything. But his kids thought it was super cool that their dad was Luke Skywalker, and they pressured him into going to these, celebrations and stuff. And so to have them in the movie and have them seeing Luke walk out that made it even better.
I follow actually all of them on social media, and Chelsea Hamill, Mark Hamill's daughter, she's so funny with some of the Star Wars stuff she posts. Like, she went to Petco the other day to get some stuff for her dogs, and they have like an entire aisle of Star Wars squeaky toys that she's like walking down the aisle filming, and it's like, if anyone knew on that aisle that that's Mark Hamill's daughter looking at the Star Wars stuff. I actually really enjoy their posts. Okay, so I think that's about it for The Last Jedi. We can't think of anything else to chat about. Watch, we'll stop recording and then we'll remember something. But we did do our movie favorites list for, like, the ranking of the Star Wars films, and I think ours are actually quite different. Okay, so I guess I will just read my list, my order, my ranking of the Star Wars movies. So, from my favorite down to my least favorite. So my favorite is Return of the Jedi. Has been since I was a little kid, and I highly doubt that will ever change. Then Empire, New Hope, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. Okay, so reasons for my ranking. Return of the Jedi, like I just said, is my favorite Star Wars movie. Has been since I was a little kid, and I don't think it's ever going to change. I don't know what I love about it. I love the rescuing Han on Tatooine, and then all of Endor. I love all of Return of the Jedi. And one of my favorite Star Wars moments probably is Luke and Vader's fight at the end of Return of the Jedi when he threatens Leia. So that's like just easily one of my favorite moments, so it's definitely my number one. Empire is a close second because it's just such a great sequel, and there's a bunch of things that I love about that one as well. And then it goes to New Hope because it's the one that started the whole series, like introduced us to all the characters, so it definitely has to be that third spot, but they're all so close. And then it goes to Force Awakens because I did enjoy Force Awakens. I actually enjoy the parallels to New Hope. I know a lot of people said it was just a copycat, but I enjoy the parallels. And then I put Last Jedi. You just heard all the reasons that I liked or disliked Last Jedi, so I fit it there. And then we move on to Revenge of the Sith because it is my favorite of the prequels. Obviously issues here and there, but it is one of my favorites of the prequels. And then moving on to Rogue One, which is totally like hit and miss for me because I enjoy the second half of that movie more than the first, and that's what made it go lower on the list because it's not the whole movie that I enjoy. And then we go to Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace are the last two, just because those two I feel like are the worst of the series. I wouldn't want to say worst because I watch both of them, but they're the least ranked for my opinion of the series. It's my ranking of them. What's yours?
Mine is Return of the Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back, Force Awakens, Rogue One, New Hope, Last Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, and then the holiday special. Now, my number one is Return of the Jedi, just because it is Luke's journey. We've seen it through A New Hope, Empire, and then in Jedi, he's a badass. Even though he screws up a little bit on Tatooine, and he's almost a little overconfident, his plan still works. And again, R2-D2 carrying the lightsaber, he's a hero. Empire Strikes Back is my number two, and it is just because it is a great movie. I mean, you have a lot of great things in there, and you end up with "No, I am your father," which is incredible. Plus, we got Yoda. We get senile Yoda.
Oh, give me the Slim Jim. I like your pepperoni stick.
Then I go to The Force Awakens because I really, really like The Force Awakens. I like the jump 30 years in the future. I like seeing Harrison Ford come back again and being Han Solo. For years, Harrison Ford's been acting, and he's the same character and everything. If you watch the Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games, he's just kind of the same thing. And when he came back in Force Awakens, he was Han Solo. The next one is Rogue One. Now, I loved Rogue One. I love the idea of it just being a war movie. It's not a kid's movie. It's not like the other ones that are made for kids. It's a war movie. I mean, you haven't seen it. People die, and it's pretty epic. I really, really like it. Then I go to New Hope. New Hope is great. Now, my top 6 are so closely ranked together that, you know, any day they could switch places. But Cassie asked me to make a list today, so I made a list today. But New Hope started it all. It's pretty great. Then I go to Last Jedi. Now, it may go up from where it's at, but like I said, they're so close together that it's just kind of ridiculous how close together they are, because I like them so much. Then I go to Revenge of the Sith, because I love the fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like I said earlier, it's not my favorite lightsaber battle, but it is a great lightsaber battle, and it's the best lightsaber battle with emotion. There's a lot of problems with that movie. I think Padme was a nothing in that movie, and I didn't like that. She was a good character in Attack of the Clones, but there was a lot of stuff that I had been waiting all this time to see Vader in the lava pit and burned up, because I'd heard about it when I was a kid. I wanted to see it. Then I go to Attack of the Clones. I really like Attack of the Clones. I like the Jango Fett stuff. I like the clones. I like the, begun the Clone Wars have. I like all of that part of it. I loved seeing all the Jedi in the arena lighting up their lightsabers. That was epic. Then I go to the Phantom Menace, which, basically starts the whole saga in a way. It has a lot of this political stuff showing Darth Sidious trying to build up his whole plan that he'd been working on with Darth Plagueis and all that stuff. But you still have young Anakin, which they should have started with Anakin older. It just gives me a problem there. And then the holiday special, which meant a lot to me when I was 13. Not so much now. I have watched the holiday special recently. It's horrible. But in 1978, when I was 13 years old, and Star Wars was going to be on TV, I couldn't have been more excited. And to have Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewie, and Mala, and Lumpy, and Itchy, and everything else they had in that was super cool. I realize it's horrible now, though. Everyone realizes it's horrible now. Did you realize how high certain people were when you watched it back then? Not back then, I didn't. But when I rewatched it on YouTube, yes, some people had been taking intoxicants. A little bit. Tiny bit. Certain characters were holding other characters up. Like that would be difficult. Yes. Itsy bitsy little princess. Yes. But definitely my top 6 are really close together. And then you got to drop a little bit for Sith. You got to drop a little bit more for clones. You got to drop a little bit more for Menace. And then I think I need a few more pages to get to the holiday special. Perhaps. So our top 2 are the same. Everything else is mixed up for us. Our top 2 are the same. Everybody's favorite is Empire. I get told all the time that everybody's favorite is Empire, but mine has always been Return of the Jedi. I don't know why. I've always loved Return of the Jedi for so many different reasons. So if we do a Return of the Jedi podcast, then it will probably be like a rant for me because I love it so much. But I love Empire too. It's like so close, like you said. They're so close together. They're so close. You could almost just say Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, number 1. Yeah. It is the best of the. Rate them by trilogies. Oh, rate them by trilogies. Then I think it's easily original trilogy, sequel trilogy, prequels. and Rogue One in between. Like it's gonna be the spin-offs. So the Rogue One and the Han Solo and the Boba Fett movie are gonna be the spin-offs. Right. Which I don't want a Boba Fett movie either. I don't want the Han Solo movie. I don't want the Boba Fett movie. These spin-offs are not gonna be for me. All right, lovelies. So that has been our Last Jedi Chit Chat with Cass podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed all of our rambles and our different opinions of the movie. As always, I like to hear what you guys thought. I know it's totally hit and miss. Some of the Star Wars fans love this movie and other Star Wars fans think it's the worst thing ever. So I'd love to hear what you guys thought of the movie and what you thought of this podcast. And also, if you guys want us to do any more Star Wars themed podcasts, I might be able to wrangle my dad into doing some more with me.
if you guys are interested.
I could possibly do that.
Possibly do that. If you guys want to hear more Star Wars podcasts from me, what order would you want us to do them in? Because there's a lot of different orders you can go with Star Wars. So, if you're listening to the podcast, you know the different options. So thank you all for listening, and I will catch you guys in the next Chit Chat with Cass.
Later.